The vessel exits the navigation tunnel and lands on the planet where the Empire's foundation of faith, the Court, is located. Following the path while the court members serve as a guide, my attendants and I walk toward the tallest chapel on the planet.
Your Majesty, please sit on the Sanctus bench.
It's located on the right side of the building. Stained glass windows reflect golden morning light and cast a magnificent color across the area. Faint murmurs drift around the room. People who have already filled the observation seats converse in hushed tones. Following their gaze and conversations, I also look toward the gallows in the center of the chapel. Bound to it is the previous monarch of the Cosmic Empire, Lysander. He's nothing more than a criminal now. A sinner. The sound of footsteps echo against the stone floor, and the conversations surround us immediately cease as the members of the Sanctite Court rise in unison. It's him. Rafayel is here.
Your quintessence.
A white hood covers half of Raphael's face as he steps through the light and onto the Sanctus bench. He slightly tilts his head to glance at me. I happen to meet his gaze. His indifference doesn't carry a scrutiny, yet on me it weighs heavy like a mountain. I remain seated and make no effort to rise. He says nothing and sits next to me.
This place is remote and hardly pleasant. I thought the Empress wouldn't grace us with her presence.
As the Cosmic Empire's Empress, judging the guilty of former monarch is also my duty. Raphael says nothing. He taps the edge of his chair, and the man standing in the center straightens his collar. And so the trial begins.
As the stellar ocean watches us, our faith in them remains unwavering. In accordance to the stellar ocean's current incarnation, the Sanctarch, I, the presiding judge appointed by his quintessence, shall sentence Lysander, the former emperor of the Empire. Lysander incited interstellar warfare to satisfy his personal desires and misused Estispith. He is no longer worthy of the noble throne. Therefore, Lysander shall be exiled to a black hole, and no one will be sent to retrieve him. Representatives of the Empire, do you agree with this judgment?
In the Allure Galaxy, the Cosmic Empire may command all visible authority. But the Sanctite Court controls the unseen foundation of faith, manipulating the very heartbeat of the Empire from the shadows. Ever since Raphael became the Sanctite's court's power has expanded, to the point that it temporarily crippled the Empire's development. Even though my reign as Empress hasn't been legitimized yet, facing the former Emperor's execution, I'm nothing more than a bystander. It seems like all the bad endings have been the first one. So I'm gonna do the bottom one, hoping it's a good ending and I can continue with the story. I agree. To ask me in such a pretentious manner, do I even have the option to disagree? On behalf of the Empire, I agree. For thousands of years, the Stellar Ocean has continued to observe the most ancient, traditional methods for judgment. Scrolls are presented one after another to me and Raphael. I pick up the quill pen from the table. Chains clink softly as the previous emperor raises his head. One crazed eye gleams under his dirty, matted golden curls.
I never thought I'd be judged by lunatics and liars. Faith, gods, they're nothing but lies. And you, my young empress, one day, You will become nothing but a rotting corpse in the chapel.
His gaze grows increasingly frenzied, but those words have drained the last ounce of his strength. The iron chains binding him are his only form of support. That's your fate, not mine. No longer paying attention to his shouts, I lower my gaze and sign my name on his scroll.
Have you ever killed anyone, Your Majesty? It was a joke. Once blood stains your clothes, it's difficult to remove. I happen to have something I want to show you. Follow me, please.
Raphael turns away. I'm right behind him as we leave, and the former emperor's mad laughter and curses still echo throughout the chapel, but I don't look back. Raphael leads me to the garden at the end of the corridor. Next to a pristine fountain is a graceful sculpture embraced by the morning light.
The Empress's coronation ceremony requires a new statue. I believe an occasion this special shouldn't be left to others.
He lowers his head. With one hand, he lifts my chin to make me look at him.
Many have told me that amongst all the royal heirs, you are the most special, but their words have yet to ring true.
Fragmented light drifts through the garden. It's as brilliant as the palace was when I first met Raphael. On that day, Raphael became the Sanctart. As a royal heir, I stood in the great hall and looked at the young, handsome Sanctart. He stood under the dome painting that depicted the Stella Ocean. Many have told me that the Sanctart is skilled in the arts, but this sculpture, the eyes are too narrow and the lips are too thin. It doesn't look like me at all. With an almost insolent gaze, I examine Raphael's face. Then I turn around and pick up the carving knife that was set aside. I'll carve it myself.
You could say I've seen far too many statues of people.
Raphael grips my hand and guides it to carve the statue's face. His grip is firm, and I'm yielding. I feel as if I'm being controlled like a puppet. When I glance to the side, I note the indifference in Raphael's gaze. I'm at a distance where I can hear him breathe.
They were just monarchs, but they believed that once they were enshrined...
Oops. What did he say?
I delivered statue after statue.
Oops.
They were just monarchs, but they believed that once they were enshrined, they would be immortal like gods. I delivered statue after statue. I didn't have the time to properly appreciate them, since I would already be carving the next one.
Raphael gently brushes away the dust from the statue's face with his fingertips.
How long do you think yours will be displayed in the Great Hall?
If we're actually counting, then the Sanctart must have quite a few sculptures. The faithful dedicated them to your quintessence, after all. But when people kneel before your statues, are they praying or readying themselves to be punished for their sins? The Sanctart court is nothing more than a symbol. To me, it doesn't matter who leads it. You only need to do your duties well. As for the other matters, it's possible that they're beyond the Sanctart court's jurisdiction. Long live the Sanctart. The commotion outside the chapel reverberates at an inopportune moment. My words now seem hollow and empty.
It's time. Would you like to accompany me to see those followers?
Irritated, I pull my hand from Raphael's grasp. That won't be necessary. You've done so much today. Your quintessence, it's time for you to rest. The starship is docked on the top floor of the chapel. As I prepare to leave, I look down at the bustling crowd. The splash of color belonging to Raphael is like a spark that fell into a wasteland. As soon as he steps out, a crowd bathed in dimness surrounds him. Only Augustus needed to ignite the flame of conflict. When that happens, I will be subjugated and reduced to a chapter in cosmic history under Raphael. I must stop the Sanctite court from expanding. Raphael will be my starting point.
They say the Sanctarch has 10 different souls. No one can truly kill his quintessence.
Those who anger the Sanctarch shall be punished by the Stellar Ocean before dying under mysterious circumstances. I heard that his quintessence opens a third eye while sleeping and feeds on human brain matter for sustenance.
Enough. In order to understand who Raphael actually is, I summoned ministers who have contacted him. But I only hear absurd, useless information in the court. I need to silence everyone. They say this. I've heard that. Since when did you start believing in nonsense?
Your Majesty, I think we should focus on Muria. It's a planet controlled by the Sanctide Court.
The strategist, a minister whose duty is to predict the course of events as they unfold and offer me counsel, steps forward.
In the past, the former Emperor promised that he'd hand over Muria to the Sanctarch. It was an attempt to appease the Sanctide Court because of their relentless pressure on the Empire. Muria is the Sanctarch's home planet. His quintessence lived there as a child. Moreover, Muria possesses an energy source that's extremely important to the Empire, Astaspith. Ever since the Sanctide Court took control of Muria, they have restricted the Empire's Astaspith extraction and mining operations.
Astaspith. The Empire's technological research and weapons manufacturing uses Astaspith, but only Muria's oceans can produce it. There are alternative energy sources, but the Sanctide Court's actions are equivalent to strangling half of the Empire's lifeline. Rafayel made a brilliant strategic move. The Sanctarch possesses a supernatural ability that lets him control others. The former Emperor once told me about it. He theorized the Astaspith could affect the human body and bring forth tremendous power. It might be why the Sanctarch can't use such a skill. Is Rafayel obstructing the Empire's mining operations because Astaspith is extremely important to him? Maybe it's just as Lysander suspected. Astaspith is the source of his supernatural superpower. Seeing my train of thought, the strategist provides me with additional information.
This year's Tide Prayer is approaching, and we reviewed several records. Every year on that day, the Sanctarch returns to Muria.
He goes to that distant planet from a lower galaxy just because of Tide Prayer. Grabbing a possible lead from the countless thoughts, I pause. Then I stand up. It seems a connection between the Sanctarch, Muria, and Astaspith is not a small matter. Why don't we investigate this further? Prepare a starship. Destination is Muria. The gray-blue glass acts like the eyelids of the deep sea. It slowly peels away the veneer. A planet silently emerges from the stellar ocean. Its name is Muria. The starship slowly descends and passes through the fog belt at the low altitude. Boundless seawater fills our vision. Neither pure nor black like stagnant water, it's a metallic, rust-like gray that surrounds the remaining remnants of land. As the starship descends through the sea mist, the outline of a small town emerges. Today is Tide Prayer. People dressed in light-colored robes are gathered in a small square. The Sanctarch leads their quiet prayers. I adjust the mask on my face, wrap my cloak more tightly around me, and follow the crowd to the center of the square. The morning light falls lovingly upon Raphael like a golden gauze draped over an exquisite divine statue. A large hood covers his face as he bestows blessings upon people who are here for morning prayers.
The radiance shall accompany Muria and all who look up to it forevermore.
During the recitation, I'm only a few persons away from Raphael. Raphael raises his head. His serene gaze is akin to floating bubble as it seemingly drifts and lands on me. Curses, he didn't recognize me, right? I quickly lower my gaze. I quickly lower my head, but all I see is the crowd slowly parting. A hand is extended before me.
One must first acknowledge their sins to find deliverance. Tell me, my lady, what is your sin?
I'm here to seek the Stella Ocean's protection.
It is their duty.
Raphael takes my hand and leads me to where he had been standing before. I'm
The
underneath that morning
Stella
light.
Ocean's radiance shines upon all creatures. No matter who you are, you shall be watched by them.
Raphael lowers his gaze, and his unfamiliar gentle gaze seems to have pierced through my mask. He recognizes me. By watching, this feels more like a covert warning. He doesn't want me to act rashly. Is he watching me?
All shall be protected by the Stella Ocean.
Long live the Sanctite Court! Long live the Sanctarch! Long live the Sanctite Court! Long live the Sanctarch!
My posture is almost stiff, and I'm unable to ignore a certain sensation. Raphael is pressing a small steel dagger against my back.
So the Empress has decided to attend Tide Prayer. Why didn't you tell me in advance, Your Majesty? Please head back. Muria isn't a safe planet. It'd be most unfortunate if something bad were to happen.
Are you threatening me, Raph? The chanting lingers in the air, and the prayers end, and the people surge forward. The pressure behind me eases. The crowd instantly engulfs me as my attendants return to my side. We've been discovered. Keep following him, but be more careful.
Your Majesty, the mining area was sealed off this morning. All the miners have been ordered by the Sanctite Court to withdraw. Last year's mining records show that the area was only sealed off during Tide Prayer, too.
I knew it. Tide Prayer was just Raphael's excuse to return to Muria. His real objective involved Estisbith. We'll stick to our original plan and go underwater. We'll look at the mining area and the sea.
Please reconsider, Your Majesty. We're unfamiliar with Muria's marine environment, and there are also tide whales.
Tide whales are legendary sea beasts that are extremely dangerous. They can appear and disappear without a trace, and one is capable of destroying 2 or 3 submarines. The existence of tide whales has never been confirmed. Besides, something's not right. We can't let this lead go to waste. The sunset's fiery red spills across the deck of the mining base. The steel floor reflects a metallic gleam. My attendant and I silently neutralize the station guards and decipher the submarine's access codes within the base. The submarine lights pierce through the dark ocean. I sit in the control room as we reach the mining area at a depth of 3,000 meters.
Warning. Continuous anomalous fluctuations detected in the magnetic field ahead.
Navigate the area. Following the direction of the anomalies, the submarine descends. Slowly, the sea water is illuminated by a fluorescent blue light. I know it's because of the Estisbith. It melts into the seawater and manifests as radiant blue specks of light. They float and shimmer with the currents. I've only seen extracted Estisbith before. I never expected it to be this bright. It can almost illumine the entire ocean. Estisbith surrounds the submarine, and it becomes increasingly brighter as I make out a clear, dark blue path of light. At the end of it lies a sunken, abandoned structure on the seabed. Move closer to get a better look.
Yes, Your Majesty.
The submarine searches through the structure after we pass several ornately carved stone pillars. Our field of vision expands. This appears to be a garden. Throughout history, Muria has experienced many instances of submersion. This place must have been a city at one point. The submarine system indicates another light source has been detected. Masses of Estisbith appear. They swirl around a colorful cluster of coral. I slowly approach the murky seawater, becomes clear, and reveals a sight I can hardly believe. Is that a person? The fluorescent blue ring of light softly illuminates his face, and even though I'm a considerable distance away, I still recognize him. Without his mask and robes, Raphael no longer resembles a lofty sanctarch. He rests quietly in the coral as if he's in a peaceful slumber. Raphael? Why is he here? Esspith gathers around him and forms slender chains of energy. They pierce his body. Fluorescent blue light particles flow around Raphael as if they're delivering energy into him. Esspith can be directly injected to the body and become usable energy. This will surely bring an unimaginable power to the Empire. Before my gaze moves from the sight, torrential roars shake the seawater. The radar is sending out alarms. A massive tail sweeps over the submarine, and a ferocious sea monster bursts through the darkness. The Empire submarine of the highest grade is destroyed just like that. A tide whale? How is this possible? In the violent impact, I fall into the ocean. Although technology allows me to breathe underwater, I feel pain. Raphael is still there. In this critical moment, I don't have time to think about how he might be someone I'm supposed to kill. My instincts tell me to save him. The violent turbulence fails to wake Raphael, so I grip my teeth, swim to his side, and grab his arm. But the Esspith acts like vines that are growing from his body. They're resisting me. Flames soar toward the sky from the submarine's location. I'm running out of time. Desperate, I pull him back. When the submarine explodes, I tear Raphael out the coral formation, and thunderous sound causes the seawater to churn. The sea monster's shadow looms over me, but I can't give in to the fear. I use all my strength to swim upward. But the seawater's depths are too much after swimming for who knows how long. I slowly become exhausted. My consciousness scatters. My body sinks until a hand grabs hold of me. Raphael? A suffocating sensation fills my chest. The water chokes me, then I wake up. After coughing a few times, I finally recover from the dizziness. There's a stove where scattered pieces of firewood burn. A light is cast on the narrow room's damp floor and walls. A box of emergency rations marked as fish is propped over the pile of firewood, and Raphael's shadow sways along with the fishy aroma. Raphael? I didn't mistake him for someone else in the ocean, but where are we? How is he still?
Eat.
As he speaks, he tears open the package of fish and places the food on the ground. Are you embarrassed? A thin, trembling kitten emerges from the corner and eats happily.
This is for cats. Are you a cat?
Does this Raphael like cats? Ignoring his teasing, I cautiously survey the area. Although the room is small, it has basic living facilities, yet it looks somewhat old and displays sign of wear and tear. It's as if no one has been here for a long time. You got me out of the ocean. Where are we?
This is a temporary base that people used when they mined Deepspace. It was abandoned a long time ago. When we surfaced, this was the closest location. We'll be resting here for a while.
Raphael lowers his gaze and watches the cat lick the fish.
In any case, I just fished you out.
What about my attendants? I remove the locator from my waterproof cloak and open it. The signal sources marking my attendants have been disconnected. I hope nothing bad happened to them. Because I'm worried about my attendants' safety, I want to leave as quickly as possible. I don't think too deeply and pull open the heavy iron door. In the endless darkness, icy rainwater and wind hit me. I can't open my eyes even though I'm near the door. With no other choice, I close the door.
You're the one who got disconnected. This place is far away from Muria's main island. We have to wait for the storm to stop before we can leave. Your people are alive on the main island. Even if they could rescue you, it'd take at least a day.
So I have to stay here with him for now. Back inside the base, I checked the mechanical blade hidden on my wrist as a precaution.
If I wanted to kill you, you'd already be dead.
Being cautious never hurts. Ever since people started addressing me as Your Majesty, I've always had a weapon on hand. I also heard the Sanctarch experienced similar troubles.
Heard? I thought you did a thorough investigation.
Even though Rafayel exposed my purpose, I don't panic. He has countless people who can serve as informants, and this is his home planet. Finding out what we're doing here would be a simple matter.
You're bolder than I imagined. I warned you, and yet you still chose to follow me here.
How else can a person uncover the most valuable of secrets if they don't venture into danger? It turns out the revered Sanctarch has to absorb Estispith to sustain himself. And the Estispith allows you to use those mystical arts, correct?
People who know too many secrets don't live long.
His words are threatening, but Rafayel acts as though he's the one being threatened. The color has drained from his face. The color is drained from his face in a blink of an eye. Realizing he's unwell, I cautiously sit up and move closer to observe his condition. I'm not sure if I'm seeing things, but there seems to be faint blue specks of light on Rafayel's skin. As soon as I reach out to touch them, Rafayel grabs my wrist.
You've crossed the line, Your Majesty.
He stares at me, and a streak of fluorescent blue light flashes in his eyes. It adopts a sharp edge. That fluorescent blue, Estispith has the same exact color. It seems my guess was correct. He's unwell. Perhaps it's because I interrupted him while he was absorbing energy. Puzzled by why I suddenly wanted to touch Rafayel, I retreat and pull my hand back. Don't misunderstand. I thought that if something were to happen to you here, the conflict between the Empire and the Sanctide Court would only escalate.
Assuming this conflict exists, why did you save me?
Muria was once under the Empire. In other words, you're also my subject. Can a ruler stand by and watch their subject die?
You're so kind.
Rafayel turns away, his breathing heavy. Hot air leaves his nose. I stand, walk to the table, and use the firelight to find the drinking water tank in the corner. After confirming it's clean, I take a small bowl and get water for Rafayel. Here, drink. He lifts his eyelids to glance at me, his expression somewhat perplexed. You did save me.
I just need to rest. I'm not dying.
Despite saying that, Rafayel takes the bowl. He drinks the water, and I start to walk around the room. In one corner of the room, rust-covered machinery is piled up. At its center is an electromagnetic display, its screen covered in dust. I gently touch the screen. Several words appear. Estispith mining log. The first page is a record of sea monster sightings. I didn't think the tide whales from legend actually existed.
Many entities in those myths might be real.
At some point, Rafayel had moved behind me. When I turn, I almost bump into his nose. His pupils and skin have returned to normal, and the fluorescent blue marks have disappeared. He recovered, I suppose. According to those legends, the Sanctarch eats raw meat, drinks blood, and sleeps with his eyes open, but judging by what I've seen today, that's not exactly accurate. Besides, the important things that do matter don't appear in myths. We're close enough that I can hear him breathe. Rafayel's gaze is no longer sharp. In fact, there's a nonchalant laziness to it. I clear my throat and step back when they attempt to create some distance between us. I knock over the receiver on the table.
This is the Narek Temporary Mining Base's real-time weather report. At 2025, the 2-hour storm will gradually end in the Narek Sea. With a visibility of less than 8 kilometers, the northern part of the ocean will face level 4 winds.
I'm stunned. Raphael takes the display from me, flips forward a few pages, and looks down.
Since your curiosity knows no bounds, I'll tell you a story.
Raphael tosses me the display and I catch it. The screen is still lit. It has only one line of text. This sea no longer looks like our home. Where else can I go?
Once upon a time, there was a thriving seaside city in Muria. It had an abundance of natural resources. In the vast cosmos, the planet remained undiscovered for a long time. The people lived peacefully. Years later, Muria was discovered. That was when the slaughter began. Before the technology for extracting astaspith was fully developed, the few survivors were used as mining tools.
The strong prey on the weak. I would hope both of us would understand that. If you aren't the person standing at the apex, then even survival itself becomes a luxury.
Isn't the tension between the Empire and the Sanctite Court also a form of survival of the fittest?
Raphael turns off the receiver and the static in the air disappears. Is that why you want power? You don't want to be weak. You just refuse to be defeated in this race. Or rather, you want revenge against the people who harmed this place.
They've already paid the price. The execution of the former Emperor is one part of it. Opposing the Sanctite Court won't be beneficial.
Noticing the implications behind Raphael's words, I go to a blank page on the display and draw a few lines. The diagonal lines are the eaves of the roof, and two small figures sit under them. The wavy lines represent the burning firewood. Everything matches our current surroundings. The present is the present. The future is another story. Neither of us can go back. You might as well pretend you're not the Sanctarch and I'm not the Empress. We can at least try to be friendly. Raphael stares at my simple sketch and touches it. As if waking up from a dream, he sweeps his finger across it like he's cutting the thin air. The drawing disappears.
Let's go.
To whence?
The rain has ceased. We'll visit the small islands around the temporary base. Maybe we can contact your attendants.
Outside, the sea's surface has calmed down. This is a small, low structure built from materials that won't easily erode from seawater. Waves crash against the jetty outside the base. Droplets land on my shoes. I follow Raphael and board the speedboat at the end of the jetty. The propellers spin, stirring up the seawater. The base's figure slowly recedes into the night. After traveling for some time, a narrow strip of land emerges from the mist. The town's light twinkles and the sea breeze carries distant, melodious, cheerful music. This place seems to be celebrating a festival. Streamers hang from the buildings with neat pointed roofs. The shops on both sides of the street glow with warm lights. Raphael did say Muria was destroyed during an invasion, but the streets before me show no traces of disaster. Coming here from the silent, dilapidated temporary base makes me feel like I traveled through time. The locator beeps twice and calls me back to reality. It indicates the connection has been restored, and I send my coordinates to my attendants.
Every year on the night of the Tide Prayer, they host a celebration.
A fragrant aroma wafts over. Raphael hands me a paper bowl filled with grilled fish.
Take it. This is the grilled fish I owe you.
Thank you. Despite expressing my gratitude, I hesitate for a moment. I don't know if I should accept it.
Once you're done eating.
Raphael sees this and puts it directly in my hands.
You should go.
What about you?
No one recognizing me is a rare occurrence. I want to stay for a bit.
Raphael looks relaxed, and it appears he does want to linger for such a simple reason. Cheerful music resounds in my ear. The carefree women wearing dark blue dance skirts step into a clearing that could hardly be called a square. They dance passionately, swinging their skirts, the reminiscent of fish swimming in the ocean. I pick up the fish. I taste its freshness and the flavor of being free from heavy responsibilities, something I rarely experience. What's the name of that dance?
It's not a specific dance. When the music plays, they move based on how they feel. Do you want to try?
Addressing the Empress by her first name. I pause. It's been many years since anyone addressed me as such. It's been so long since I had forgotten being the Empress is simply a role.
There's no such thing as empresses or sanctarchs here. I believe we're just two ordinary people.
Okay, Raphael. The corner of his mouth curls upward and I place my hand on his shoulder. Just so you're aware, I'm good at dancing.
Are you referring to the times you listened to solemn melodies in the palace? You only wore the appropriate poses and expressions. That can't be called dancing.
Excuse you, Raph. MC knows how to boogie. Oh, whoops. What's this? Raphael supports my waist with one hand. Using a firm grip, he pulls me closer. I had to lower myself and lean back. He leans down, seemingly immobilizing me in his brace. His unyielding authority refuses to be resisted.
You can let me lead.
Raphael, allow me to tell you a secret. I'm not the obedient, docile person you think I am. Outside the palace, I have other sides you've never seen before. So, I push Raphael away and immediately step forward. Without giving Raphael a chance to react, I take his hand. Pulling him toward me, I become the one who leads this dance. Our hands move across each other's bodies in accordance to the rhythm. We must look intimate at this moment.
I take back what I said about not seeing how you're special.
As the music gradually fades, Raphael catches me. While those final notes resound, we lock eyes. Neither of us speaks until the voices around us erupt in excitement. Only then does the air seem to rush into space between us.
Wait.
I realized that all the men who had been dancing are now bowing down to kiss the back of their partner's hands. But kissing the back of one's hands has another meaning in the Empire. During a monarch's coronation ceremony, the sanctite court sanctarch kisses the back of their hand as a gesture of approval and recognition. Even though this isn't a coronation, I try to pull away, but Raphael doesn't let go.
Why are you worried? This is nothing more than a meaningless kiss given to a dance partner.
My heart pounds like a drum. I assume it's because I dance so passionately. I offer my hand to Raphael, and his soft lips immediately touch the back of my hand. The sensation tickles as it gently ripples outward. For some reason, a thought appears in my mind. If there's anything that could commemorate those few seconds, it'd be this kiss. The locator on my cloak vibrates. My attendants are sending me signal. When the device starts ringing, it means they found my location. They're on the way to take me back. My freedom has already come and gone. I feel a hint of regret.
Do you want to stay here?
No. A thought involuntarily arises in my mind. In the time I have left, what else can I do with Raphael? My gaze falls on Raphael, and I realize I shouldn't dwell on it. What must I do is wait for the moment when we part ways. Following the crowd as it disperses, Raphael and I walk along the street heading toward the coast. The sea wind stirs and a chapel stands alone on the edge of a cliff.
Shall we wait there?
We push open the chapel's heavy doors and sit on the pew. The dim light before the statue envelops us. The silent, boundless sea surges under the moon. When the time comes, I'll see my attendant's arrival through the window. The chapel is vast, and the lights around us are faint. From the prayer room located in its depths, the intermittent voice of a devout person can be heard. O divine
Stella Ocean, I love someone who cannot love me back. Our families are locked in a bitter conflict. We're destined for different paths, so we can't be together. Please forgive me for my sins. I fell in love with her. Please forgive me for my sins. I kissed her and touched her body. Please forgive me for being unable to suppress my love for her. Even now, I can't forget her.
The voice stops and the chapel falls silent. But this prayer lingers in my ear. They turn into thoughts I can't ignore. How will the Sanctite Court deal with such a sin?
To love or not to love, neither is under the gods' dominion.
So being destined for different paths is utter nonsense. I look up, a blinding flash of lightning streaks across the sky and illuminates the chapel. It's going to rain soon. In that brief radiance, I look at Raphael. He thinks falling in love with someone he shouldn't love is a sin, but maybe this was inevitable for him. The downpour starts. I can almost believe my heartbeat is the sound of rainfall. Using the heavy rain to drown out my racing heart, I move an inch closer to Raphael. In that quietness, Raphael watches me for a long time. Then he gradually leans in until our bodies are seemingly pressed together. I see my reflection in Raphael's eyes before our lips touch. Perhaps he no longer sees an inexperienced empress. Rather, there's only a woman he still wants to be close to after stripping away every identity.
It's time. You should leave.
No! The locator continuously emits a sound as if it reached the end of the countdown. Turn the tracker off, girl. Muria's climb is unstable. It's common for a sudden downpour to come as quickly as they go. When I leave the chapel, the rain has eased. Only on the holographic map, the spacecraft that's here to pick me up is descending nearby. Brushing away my windswept hair, I look at Raphael's harsh light ablazes behind me. I watch him move closer to the shore, one step at a time. Worry clenches my heart. Raphael, the sea has waves at least 1,000 feet high crash against the land behind him. He watches me from a distance. Are they really gonna separate?
I don't really want you dead anymore. Life actually feels interesting when you're the Empress.
Me too. A tide whale leaps out of the water, its massive shadow enveloping me and the spacecraft. Raphael falls backward into the sea, then the tide whale crashes into the ocean with a thunderous roar. I chase after them. Raphael's figure stands in the departing sea creature as it leaves behind the waves reminiscent of a mountain ridges on the water's surface. So Raphael and the tide whale aren't enemies. That night in Maria feels like dreamlike and ethereal. It only visited me after the sun sets in those darkest hours. But the time in which I've woken up from that dream increasingly grows longer. Sitting upon my throne, I calmly issue the order to form a blockade around Maria and discuss strategies related to the planet and Estes mining. As expected, Raphael would never allow the Empire to manipulate him like this. Several Imperial officials have died, and so a banquet called the Grand Unveiling has caught my eye. It's a grand event organized by Raphael. Everyone in the Empire is vying for an invitation.
The officials who attended it experienced an episode of madness after leaving. They squandered their wealth, destroyed their reputations, wrote countless bloody confession letters, and took their own lives at the doorsteps. I found this in their homes.
The minister hands me an envelope. Opening it, I find an invitation to the grand unveiling. It's from Rafayel.
The Sanctarch organized this banquet and invited the Empire's most powerful ministers who wielded real authority. Their wealth and reputation are secondary. What matters is the armies under their command.
The Sanctide Court can't match the Empire in military strength. They need troops to break through the blockade. First, he used Tide Prayer as a pretense to absorb Estispith, and now he's using banquets to gather forces so he can fight the Empire. Rafayel, you're using the same old tricks. A general standing in the Great Hall steps forward and presents a dagger in an ornate sheath.
Your Majesty, this is a dagger forged from Estispith. Please accept it for your protection. The Sancti Court shall inevitably challenge us someday. I hope you'll prioritize your safety.
I draw the dagger halfway. A fluorescent blue light shimmers on the sharp, cold blade. Find out which officials received invitations to the grand unveiling. I want a thorough investigation. In a few days, I'll visit the Sanctide Court's chapel to confirm the details of the coronation ceremony. Until then, don't act rashly. It doesn't matter what happens. They bow and acknowledge their orders. I look down and slide the dagger back into its sheath. Before the coronation ceremony, the Empire had already deployed troops to Muria. It was to control the Estispith mining areas and set up extremely strict procedures. Authorization protocols have been set so that the Empire could start at any time. Estispith became a resource under the Empire's control. It can't fall into the Sanctide's court hands. And just like that, these forceful measures shattered the superficial peace between the Empire and the Sanctide courts. At night, everything is still in the Sanctide Court's chapel. I'm staying here with several attendants as I wait for tomorrow's coronation ceremony. I expected the Sanctide Court to be troublesome, but surprisingly, everything has been going smoothly. It's just that the Sanctarch hasn't showed up once.
Your Majesty, this is your room.
I nod and remove my robe, but I'm confused as to why the maid is still standing in the doorway. Is there anything else? The maid remains silent, her forearm twitching as she pulls out a note from her pocket. Upon closer inspection, there seems to be fluorescent blue lights clinging to her skin. Ooh. Rafayel? He's using his power to control her? Annoyed, I unfold the paper. Top floor, to the west, second to last room. Rafayel signed this. You're giving this to me now. What do you want to do? I subconsciously check the Estispith dagger that's strapped to my thigh. After tomorrow, I will officially be the Empress, and Rafayel will be nothing more than the Sanctide Court's Sanctarch. This is the last night that belongs to us, two people without any identities. I will attend this meeting. Ooh, what's gonna happen? At midnight, everything is empty and silent in the chapel. The flickering candlelight illuminates the corridor. Reaching the location mentioned in the note, I push open the door. The starry sky enters my vision. There's an airship beside the launch platform. Under the starlight, Rafayel stands quietly in front of it. Contact me in the middle of the night. Are you not going to tell me where we're headed?
So you wouldn't have come if I didn't tell you?
I'm speechless. The airship's hatch slowly opens and I follow Rafayel to the cockpit. The instruments glow dimly as he skillfully operates various controls. The airship stirs up air. With a roar, it's launched into deep space.
You're not even worried about the possibility of me kidnapping you.
On the night before the coronation, the Sanctarch takes the Empress and runs away. It doesn't sound like kidnapping, it's almost like...
We're eloping?
We're settling a personal vendetta. The passage grows narrower, and I watch the coordinates blink as the navigation system shows that we're approaching the border. A realization dawns on me. Are you taking me to the interstellar fortress?
You're clever.
The interstellar fortress acts as a barrier, its sentinel standing in front of the deep space forbidden zones beyond it, and the area is filled with turbulence and debris. It's extremely dangerous for flying spacecraft to navigate.
If you're scared, you can still change your mind.
You're here. Why should I be afraid? Even so, I immediately check the safety equipment inside the spaceship.
Don't worry. I'll bring you back safely so others won't think we actually eloped.
The rapidly spinning propellers disperse the dark-colored mist. Several towers rising toward deep space stand guard over the safety barriers along the perimeter. The airship enters the departure zone. Several beams of light streak across the sky, and the almost transparent barrier opens up on both sides. The vast cosmos unfold before us. In the distance, blinding light pulsates like a series of detonations. Another neutron has exploded somewhere far away.
You've seen meteoroids explode in space?
When I was young, I was kidnapped because of my status as the crown princess. They took me and fled. Since they chose to only use hidden interstellar routes, I saw it once during the journey.
I thought you were well protected since childhood.
It's because danger was always lurking. Special protection was par for the course.
So what happened?
I finished them off personally.
You must repay any grudge, huh? In a way, you're just like me. Sit tight.
He activates the airship's defense mechanisms. The vessel's speed suddenly surges, and I'm forcefully pressed back into my seat. Meteoroids, all sizes, form a narrow tunnel. We weave through the bizarre, otherworldly scenery. The instrument panel reflects Raphael's calm expression amid the violent turbulence. He pilots the airship and breaks free from this obstacle-filled galaxy. The vessel escapes the torrent and enters an ocean of stars. What is this place? It's as if we've fallen into a pool of water under the setting sun. A purplish-red nebula forms two wings against the cosmic canvas. It's like a dancing butterfly.
The Butterfly Nebula is the result of two meteoroids colliding. It's hidden behind the turbulence, and it's impossible to see unless you pass through the chaos. Tomorrow is your coronation ceremony. I think you should have a good gift.
I turn my head toward Raphael. Because I look at the nebula for so long, the colors belonging to the ocean of stars gently veil my eyes. In my vision, Raphael is also tinted with those hues. The sight becomes a memory related to this night. It's more beautiful than when I saw it as a child. Thank you. At this moment, I seemingly have gained the freedom to be honest with my feelings. I envy those two meteoroids. One of them collided with the other. They couldn't escape their fates, yet in the process, they became a rare, beautiful spectacle.
They've been shattered, broken into little pieces. Is being envious of that worthwhile? I won't accept such an outcome, and I don't believe in fate either. I believe wherever my choices lead me shall be my fate.
Before I can fully process what's happening, Raphael leans towards me. His palm, clad in his searing warmth, is pressed against my thigh, over my clothing. Intimate yet methodical, his hand moves up by half an inch. My heart skips a beat. Raphael touches my dagger.
You know I won't start a war in Muria, so you set up a blockade around the Astaspeth mining areas.
You figured it out.
Many have sat on that imperial throne. I thought you'd be the same as them.
In the dimly lit cockpit, Our breaths mingle as Raphael moves closer. I can feel his gaze on me. Judging by his expression, I realize he's aware that I brought a dagger. He also knows where it is.
You're not the first ruler who wanted to kill me, but you're the first to call me by my name, and the first one to dance with me.
He pushes my robe aside, but what touches me isn't Raphael's hands. It's a cold glass bottle. He tucks it under my thigh strap. The item sits next to my dagger.
I found an interesting bauble. When two people drink this potion, they will form an unbreakable connection. They will share each other's joy, pain, and death. It's not love per se, but it's almost like it.
Raphael's gentle gaze floats and settles on my lips.
You can choose the dagger or the potion.
The distance between us is no bigger than a hair. We stare at each other and share a look that's impossible to decipher, to surrender to. In that daze, my memories of our time in that chapel in Muria return. Our breaths intermingle as we were almost pressed up against each other. But that was merely a momentary lapse of judgment. I should erase it from my mind. Ugh, girl, don't. Just give in. Raphael, I want to secure my position as Empress. The choice I'll make is the one you don't want to hear. Esspith is already under the Empire's control. I now possess a weapon capable of threatening the Sanctite Court and Raphael. When victory is within reach, choosing love would be absurd. Raphael averts his gaze and moves back to create an appropriate distance between us. Girl, really? Oh my god. The airship is restarted. It stirs up the dust that quietly floats in the deep space. I steady myself, but as Raphael pilots the airship to leave, I can't help but look back. The magnificent butterfly remains as if it will never change. We who witnessed it, however, shall return to the turbulent currents. And that's it. Oh my god. They are baiting me. Sunlight passes through the opening at the top of the dome and falls into the sacred chapel where the coronation ceremony is held. Under everyone's watchful gaze, I stand before the stained glass window. Wearing my robes for coronation ceremony, I look at the sculpture that belongs to me. The chapel bell rings as scheduled, but the Sanctarch has yet to appear. There's no need to wait for his quintessence. Proceed with the ceremony. After an oath is sworn, the Sanctarch places the crown upon the monarch's head. It symbolizes Sanctite Court's approval of royal authority. Raphael isn't here, so I don't intend to continue following this precedent.
Your Majesty.
The attendant by my side was a solemn expression.
We just received word that the Sanctite Court has attacked the Empire's forces in Muria. They're currently engaged in combat.
I anticipated this, but my heart still sinks when I hear the news.
His quintessence, the Sanctarch, has arrived.
The officiant immediately bows his head as a form of salutation. Meanwhile, I look at the gates and a stern expression is on my face. Sanctite Court members surround Raphael as he enters. Today, he wears the most ceremonial, solemn attire that belongs only to the Sanctarch. The Sanctarch must think the process of presenting the crown to the Empress is unimportant. His quintessence has only arrived now, after all. It just so happens that I share the same sentiments. Since the Empress rules over the Empire, it's natural for the Sanctite Court not to interfere. Everyone understands the meaning behind my words. The Empress doesn't need the Sanctite Court's recognition. The Imperial soldiers on standby place their hands on their swords in unison. The Sanctite Court members assume the same stance, and the atmosphere becomes tense. Raphael, at the center of everyone's attention, raises his hand slightly. The court members lower their weapons.
If there is no crown, then there is no sovereignty. Surely Her Majesty has no intention of ignoring history.
Perhaps my actions will set the next precedent. Raphael extends his hand toward me. It's an invitation to start the ceremony. Where he kisses the back of my hand. I don't move. Raphael watches me, his expression calm. A streak of fluorescent blue light flashes across his eyes. Raphael's gaze controls my movements. My consciousness scatters for a moment and I watch myself place my hand into his palm. He's using his power to control me. He bows slightly and places a gentle, warm kiss on the back of my hand. I can only look at him. The person before me is strange and familiar. His kiss on the back of my hand overlaps with the memories of our time in Muria. Lord and Raphael's time has ended. All that remains...
On behalf of the Sanctide Court, I shall bless the new Empress.
All that remains is the Empress and the Sanctide.
The Sanctide Court shall continue to work with the Empire to establish legitimacy in the Alor Galaxy.
The fluorescent blue glow in Raphael's eyes fades and I pull my hand away. I've also been waiting for this day, for a long time. His pause is almost imperceptible. He takes the crown and places it on my head.
Allow me to send a congratulatory gift. I would like to formally invite the Cosmic Empire's Empress to the Grand Unveiling Banquet.
I suppress my surprise as every gaze in the room falls upon me and Raphael. Those unaware of the truth might think Raphael is extending an olive branch toward the Empire, but I know this is a trap I can't simply refuse. Once the ceremony has ended, the statue of me returns to the palace.
Your Majesty, where would you like to place your sculpture?
The sunset's glow filters through the windows on both sides of the courtyard. Like gauze, it covers the statue's face. I trace her eyes with my fingers and wonder how long it took for Raphael to carve this. I don't want the sculpture. I draw the dagger meant for Raphael from my thigh strap and viciously stab the statue. The stone cracks from where the blade was plunged. Tiny fragments tumble down. Destroy it. I pull the dagger out and use more force compared to when I stabbed the statue. Battles have raged in Muria for months. Daily battle reports flood in like snowflakes. The Sanctide Court has controlled Muria for a long time, and their familiarity with the oceanic planet's terrain compensates for their inferior troops. The Empire's advance is exceptionally slow. Igniting a war is merely a pyrrhic choice. Killing 1,000 enemies means losing 800 of our own. Given the current circumstances, the best solution is to kill Raphael. At first, I'm reluctant to bat the banquet, but after some careful consideration, this seems to be the perfect opportunity. I shall use this chance to figure out what Raphael intends to accomplish with this death banquet, so I attend this event. The spaceship hosting the banquet floats quietly in the cosmos. My forces remain hidden nearby to provide support at a moment's notice. Unlike ordinary spaceships, this vessel has been divided into banquet halls of various sizes. Its interior possesses luxurious decorations. The quiet corridor is seemingly endless. The Sanctide Court members walk ahead and lead me into the banquet hall located at the spaceship's innermost depths.
His quintessence is waiting for you inside.
Inside, there's only one lit lamp above the center of the long table. Across the dark red curtains, shadows dance with the swaying candlelight. Raphael sits on one side of the long table. Next to him is a wine glass that's half full. It's as if he'd been waiting for quite some time. The supposedly dreadful grand unveiling banquet is drinking with a Sanctarch.
I wouldn't say it's the Grand Unveiling Banquet. I prefer to think of it as a private invitation. Everyone who has been invited to attend must first demonstrate their loyalty to the Sanctide Court. You're the only exception.
But the guests are people from the Empire. Raphael raises his hand slightly and red curtains beside the table are opened. Beyond the glass, a statue of Stella Ocean stands in the center of another dimly lit banquet hall. Boxes of gold, silver, and jewels line the foot of the statue, their scattered reflections fragmenting solemn lines until they're barely recognizable. Some imperial ministers are devoutly reciting prayers before the statue.
I didn't force them to do anything. I told them to attend the banquet and offer their most prized possessions. Then, they can gain the Sanctide Court's favor. Once the war in Muria ends, they can become members of the Sanctide Court. They'll possess a status that's far more superior to an imperial citizen's. The people of the Empire might revere them. They suspected that I had killed quite a few attendees here. Yet, when it comes to the taste of power, they were willing to betray their country.
Raphael walks up to the glass and looks at the people on the other side. He's seemingly enjoying their greedy behavior. You keep the useful ones who happen to hold high positions in the Empire, convert them to your cause, and use them to undermine the Empire's rule. You extort riches from those who aren't useful to you. Your tactics are more ruthless than actual warfare. He turns, picks up a wine glass, and hands it to me.
Since this is a banquet, let's have a drink first.
I ignore the glass and don't look at him.
Constantly targeting each other will only ensure mutual destruction, but we can change our approach. For example, we can cooperate.
The Sanctide Court controls Esspith. Cooperation will be difficult when there's conflict of interest. As soon as I turn to leave, an irresistible force controls me. A fluorescent blue rises in Raphael's pupils. You. My people are outside, Raphael.
No one wants to see a fight to the death. If anything, I'm your best choice. My sincerity is eliminating traitors in their quest for power. Do you actually need those who forsake the Empire for small favors?
I watch myself pick up the glass. I drain it in one go. Everything seemingly becomes hazy. I can't even clearly see what's in front of me. There was something in the wine. Where are you? Where are you taking me?
It'll be over soon.
You drug her, Raph?
Welcome to my private domain, Your Majesty.
What did you do at the banquet?
The guests demanded miracles. They got what they wanted. Look. Imperial power stole their land, blood, and lives. They resisted. However, faith can make them willingly offer up those things.
Don't forget, your faith was built upon my territory. You've witnessed my choice. You can either submit to me or die by my blade.
Will my death benefit you? Killing me would be the worst choice.
What are you doing?
Try it, I don't mind.
Oh! Raph! Wait, I didn't mean to. Huh? You used your power to trick me?
I let you see your own heart, didn't I?
You win. Tell me what you want.
To make me submit, you need more than power. Use yourself.
Oh. If you want me, then you have to give yourself up to me too.
From now on, you and I, together with our power, we're conspirators.
He licked that potion off her face. Oh my God. I slept for a long time at Raphael's private island. I dreamed that I was still floating and sinking in Miria's sea. Dazed, I felt a searing pain as if my soul had been split in half. There was an emptiness within my body. I didn't want to float anymore. Yet as I struggled, my consciousness was slowly embraced. Even without opening my eyes, I knew it was Raphael. He's the strangest person I've met, yet he's also the one I'm most familiar with. A part of himself warmly, tenderly fills me. Our lives are intertwined. The Empire's Empress, the Sanctide Court's Sanctarch, those identities are cast aside, and we're just simply Lauren and Raphael. When I wake up, I feel like I've emerged from seawater. There's not a single ounce of strength left in my body. The morning light in the cosmos is more tranquil than the water's surface. It streams in through the portholes to quietly announce the arrival of dawn. Raphael is holding me and he relaxes his grip once he sees I'm awake. I remember what you said to me when we were in that Mirian chapel. It's time. You were referring to the time that belonged to Raphael and Lauren. I raise my hand and my fingers caress Raphael's cheek. From that point on, you were no longer Raphael to me. You were only the Sanctide Court's Sanctarch.
Actually, I was wondering if the time that belonged to Raphael and you could last forever. So forget what I said. I didn't mean it.
Raphael lowers his gaze. Only now is he honest with his emotions. His words return to me. Maybe opponents who are evenly matched can be great conspirators. The speedboat stops in the middle of the ocean. Raphael holds my hand and he guides me to jump into the deep sea. We return to where I once discovered Raphael. Esspith drifts like butterflies in the water. They sway with the current.
When I was little, I almost drowned. But that experience allowed me to discover the mysterious connection between my body and Esspith. I can harness its energy to do some unexpected things.
Raphael closes his eyes, and the Esspith seems to have sensed his presence. They transform him into a slender conduits that channel energy into his body.
During tide prayer, the energy in my body is almost depleted, so I need to return to Muria's seas every year. I'll be slightly weaker than usual on that day.
Raphael takes my hand, and Esspith follows him to surround me. A cool sensation surges into my chest. I think I can feel the power you mentioned, Raphael. I've absorbed the Esspith. Does this mean I can control others too? I'll give it a try. Raphael, kiss me. Surprised for less than half a second, Raphael understands. Smiling, he approaches me.
You can't test your newfound skill on me, even if I'm not being controlled by you.
He caresses my cheek, then his lips are pressed against mine. They're the only warmth in this cold seawater.
I'd still do it.
As Raphael gently kisses me, I can sense the power that comes from Esespith, as well as our emotions. I think that if I stood on an open sea, mentioning love would be enough to make schools of fish follow me. They'd swim toward land. I had no intention of using warfare as a long-term strategy. It's more like the result of countless causes. A choice one must use because there's nothing else. But fortunately, it's not the end. Since I can't completely eliminate the Sanctite Court, I might as well take the olive branch that Raphael extended. We'll step back and cooperate. This is a rational calculation and the outcome I want. After discussing it with the ministers, the Empire and the Sanctite Court agreed to a ceasefire in Myria. In exchange, the Sanctite Court and the Empire fairly divided the mining rights for Esespith and clarified their respective interstellar authorities. For centuries, the power struggle between the Sanctite Court and the Empire has ebbed and flowed, but in this era it has subsided temporarily. The nights in Myria are as lively as ever. The theater's curtains are open and a brand new play is reaching its climax.
Starting today, you shall be my empress. I will honor you. You shall never be tainted when you receive my love.
Under the stage lights, the Sanctarch takes the hand of the Empress. When he tries to kiss the back of her hand, she avoids it.
Your promises are like that beach's sand. They'll disappear once the waves wash over them. How can I trust you?
My dear Empress, you are my diamond in the deep sea. You're dazzling and precious. How could I possibly deceive you?
You're talking to me about love? In your eyes, it's a trivial matter.
Oh, he loves her.
In the audience, everyone is moved. Their delicate silk handkerchiefs fail to contain the falling tears. However, the Empress pulls out a sharp dagger from under her beautiful yet heavy dress. She presses it against the throat of the Sanctarch.
I had a very long dream. In it, we held blades at each other's throats. We're like the moon and its reflection on the sea's surface. We can't escape each other, yet we'll always be separated, unable to be close.
Mother, aren't they in love? Why would they want to kill each other?
You're still young. You don't understand that they must hate each other because of their circumstances, but they love each other because it's what they desire.
The curious crowd frantically enters the theater to witness the love and hatred between the Sanctite Court Sanctarch and the Empire's Empress. When someone in Myria says the word love, the sea breeze carries their story. Raphael was a little scary in that. He was acting a little darker, and I kind of like it when we get to see that side of him a little more. It shows how multifaceted of a character he is. Okay, I'm gonna do the bad ending now. All right, I'm about to do like the bad ending, and choose I do not agree. The Empire can't be a subordinate to the Sanctite Courts forever. Concession will only encourage them to push for more. I do not agree. Lysander's punishment should be decided by the Empire. The Sanctite Court has no right to interfere. All is quiet in the chapel. Raphael looks at me, his gaze not revealing the seriousness I expected. Rather, there's a hint of intrigue. The Sanctite Court members immediately rise and surround me and my attendants. But Raphael raises his hand. He's signaling them to stand down.
Since Her Majesty wishes to personally judge Lysander, I can make concessions. However, as the Sanctarch, I need to act on behalf of the Sanctite.
Oops.
However, as the Sanctarch, I need to act on behalf of the Sanctide Court's interests if the Empress decides to take Lysander away.
Understanding Raphael's warning, I remain resolved in making my choice. I still remember the sunlight on the day I left the chapel. Resisting the Sanctide Court was easier than I imagined, but making the choice wasn't difficult. The real challenge lay in the consequences. I used all my resources in an effort to find the Sanctide Court's weaknesses, or rather, Raphael's weaknesses. I set my sights on Raphael's home planet, Myria. That's where Esspith, the most important resource to the Empires, was located. When I attempted to control it, the Sanctide Court immediately declared war against the Empire. The protracted conflict consumed nearly half of my life. Unfortunately, what I learned during that time while I was trapped in the depths of the chapel. Sometimes I wonder if things would have been different, assuming the Sanctarch and I stayed in contact. Maybe I would have gotten the chance to sit down and talk with him. But the wheel of history only moves forward. Even though I'm somewhat caught up in its momentum, I will still do my best to fulfill my duty as an Empress. An excerpt from the Empress's journal. They never saw each other again.